Halo's gunplay, Ratchet & Clank's weapons, and a light-hearted sense of humor. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect third-person shooter. But Swinging Ape Studios accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. A bunch of yellow robots? Thus, Metal Arms Glitch in the System was born by Vivendi and Sierra in 2003. This game is actually pretty awesome, with good action, a unique retro-futuristic aesthetic, a funny storyline, and a difficulty curve that will kick your ass to Kingdom Come. So why does no one talk about this hidden gem? Let's find out as we blast our way through an army of evil robots with our vast arsenal of weapons so that our army of good robots saves the day.
Hey, over here! Zombie found something! Wow, what kind of droid is that?
I don't know, I've never seen anyone like him.
Let's get him back to Droid Town. The Colonel will know what to do.
Check out that strange marking.
What is the best way to start a game's story? An exposition dump? Establishing a fascist regime that our hero must dismantle? Maybe a lot of swearing? If you answered yes to all these questions, congratulations, you will love the game's painfully long intro cutscene. Also, you're clinically insane. I'm sorry, these are the rules I just made up. Anyway, our story begins on the planet Iron Star, which is an ironic name for a planet where droids live long and prosper. One of them, Dr. Exavolt, tried to evolve the droid race beyond its abilities using whatever technology he could find. Of course, that backfired spectacularly, and a massive explosion destroyed the Doctor's lab and created the ultimate villain, a tyrannical military general called General
Corrosion!
Oh, sorry about that. My bad. I meant General
Corrosion!
Damn it, it's General Corrosive, okay? And he made a whole bunch of evil soldier bots called Mills and wants to enslave everyone ever. Luckily, Colonel Alloy is leading the resistance against the fascist general, operating from a secret settlement called Droid Town, because originality is for pussies. But where does our hero Glitch fit in all of this? Well, some rebels find him in a random junk heap, a droid that loves swearing fixes him up, and now he has to save the world. Along the way, you meet various characters and get into all sorts of wacky hijinks, but that's pretty much the gist of the story. Generic? Yes. Derivative? For sure. But the game's dialogue and overall sense of humor save it from being a boring experience. Metal Arms manages to have intense moments of fighting and defending yourself from the evil Mills, while at the same time relieving tension by interjecting playful banter among its characters. There are also some minor horror elements thrown into the mix, because why the hell not? It's the 2000s after all. Overall, the story is just there to move things along, but the characters are funny and witty enough to get a few chuckles out of me, managing to make the whole experience light-hearted and enjoyable. Metal Arms' presentation left me with some mixed feelings. But first, let's talk about the good stuff, the characters. You'd think that since everyone is a robot of some kind, they would end up being soulless husks with barely any characterization. But you'd be wrong. Every character here is full of life and has a charming personality, except for Glitch, who barely talks in cutscenes. The charm is also amplified by the very fluid animations, the great dialogue and the funny voice acting, making each droid unique and adorable, especially when they scream in terror as they blow up into a million pieces. It's a shame though that all these characters, vehicles, enemies and models are plopped into the most generic environments you could imagine. Seriously, it's shocking how brown this game is. Sure, there are different levels you can explore as well, like cave systems and high-tech military bases, but the textures are too low-res and the lighting is too dark, making the experience a bit underwhelming. There is one saving grace though, the music. Because holy shit does this game's music slap. Slap my ears with auditory pleasure. The soundtrack is full of high-energy techno tracks that complement the action nicely, and the sound effects are meaty enough to add to the chaos of constantly shooting and exploding stuff. My only complaint? There is not enough music at the later levels. It's fine though, Metal Arms is overall a good looking game, with a great sci-fi art style. Yeah, the levels look generic as hell, but the awesome soundtrack, the extensively destructible environments, and the charming characters manage to make the experience very entertaining. Metal Arms certainly isn't going to win any awards for originality or innovation, but it still has fairly solid gameplay. Since this is a third-person shooter, you have a large variety of primary and secondary weapons to choose from to blast your enemies. You got your standard laser, a machine gun, a long-range rifle with exploding bolts, a shotgun, a rocket launcher, fairly standard stuff. Secondary weapons are a bit more interesting, with self-guided missiles, EMP grenades, and magma bombs to obliterate any foe. There are some bizarre design choices regarding the weapons, such as a slingshot that just helps you throw your grenades with greater force, or your scope being a secondary weapon that you have to equip so you can zoom in with your guns. As for the shooting, it feels pretty average to be honest. The guns lack proper kick and are wildly inaccurate unless you're up close to an enemy, and you can't really tell if you're damaging them until you destroy or dismember them. Yep, you can dismember your opponents in this game, rendering them unable to shoot accurately or use their weapons. It's hilarious seeing just a pair of legs running around without a body, but at the same time, it's incredibly dark. How could kids play this? Oh man, I need some God of War to clear my head after all this senseless violence. Anyway, shooting crazy robots isn't all you'll be doing, as the game has a large variety of different missions you'll have to complete. Defending your town from hordes of enemies, racing against the clock, wrecking shit with armored vehicles or huge robots, the all-time favorite turret section, and even controlling enemy bots for some designated stealth segments. This game has it all. Although the vehicles could be a bit more responsive and the platforming is slippery as hell, all these sections provide a nice change of pace from all the on-foot action. But even during the standard missions, there are plenty of hidden secrets to find and power-ups and upgrades to purchase from your local vendors, if you're a diligent and observant explorer. And trust me, you're gonna need whatever you can find, because Metal Arms doesn't fuck around. The difficulty ramps up really quickly, and the game will throw everything it has at you, including a kitchen sink with a laser minigun. You'll have to move fast, aim accurately, and adapt to each situation accordingly, or else you're gonna get bombarded with rockets, exploding bolts, and regular gunfire, turning you into a pile of scrap in a matter of seconds. Sometimes things get so chaotic that the game struggles to keep a steady frame rate throughout the onslaught. It never gets frustrating to the point that I want to take a diarrhea dump all over the game, it's just the right amount of challenge to keep you on your toes. Sure, the level design sometimes trolls you, or it isn't always clear what you're supposed to do next, but I always manage to find my way and finish each level without too much trouble. The checkpoints are evenly placed as well, which helps with the game's pacing. And if single player isn't enough, there is an extensive multiplayer mode as well. Of course, I have no friends to properly demonstrate it, but from my research there are 7 different modes you can try, and you can play along with 4 people on the Xbox and GameCube versions. The PlayStation 2 version only allows 2 players unfortunately, but has an exclusive map, as if that makes up for it. In any case, Metal Arms is just a fun time all around. It's not a revolutionary game by any stretch of the imagination, but the shooting is good, the missions are varied, and the difficulty is hard enough to keep you engaged. But above all else, it's just entertaining, blowing robots to bits and exploding stuff with reckless abandon. Is it fair to compare Metal Arms to Halo or Ratchet & Clank? I mean, sure, it's quite obvious the game draws a lot of inspiration from the aforementioned titles, from the gunplay to the mission structure, while having a biting sense of humor. But I believe the game manages to craft a unique and enjoyable experience, with a charming art style and serviceable gameplay that challenges the player's abilities but never lets them down or needlessly annoys them. Sure, it's hard as balls, but persevere and I'm sure you'll have a great time. And that's all I had to say about Metal Arms, Glitch in the System. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff. You know how it goes. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.